All right, welcome back to Talking Tridents, a Mariners podcast. We have a few things to unpack today and a couple topics to get into, but I want to start us off with talking about last night, Friday night's win in extra innings against the Rangers. Uh, yeah, that game pissed me off until Miles Mastrobouni walked it off. Saved the game with the nice catch and then walked it off. Well, didn't walk it off, but gave us the go-ahead run. But man, that what were your thoughts on that game last night?
I think that slide was completely unnecessary by Mastrobouni, but you know what? He made the play, so he can do what he wants after.
Are you talking about on the catch?
Yeah, on the catch.
Yeah, he was hyped
No,
after that catch. Did you see him?
rightfully so. I mean, that game was tough. We were up at what point 5-1. Logan
Yeah,
Gilbert, gave up the lead. Trying to claw it back the whole time. We were 5 for 23 with runners in scoring position in that game. Had
yeah,
16 hits, and it was that close.
yeah,
That's what made it so stressful for me. I'm sure you guys felt the same thing, but like
yeah,
you said, Mastrobouni came in off the bench in the late inning, made the catch, made the hit, and we won it. So in the end, you know what? We won that game. We'll chalk it up as a in the win column, and we'll move forward. But we got
yeah,
to take advantage of those opportunities moving forward.
yeah. Definitely, with 16 hits, that game should not have been that close.
No.
I mean that. Yeah, the Mariners offense. We got off to a great start that game, and then Gilbert, unfortunately, in the sixth, gave up 4 runs. So
Mhm.
that was unfortunate. But still, with that many hits and the way the offense was looking early in the game, that game should not have been that close. But
No.
going back to the series before, the first two games, crazy offense, scoring a lot of runs, and then the last two games, nothing, no
And
offense.
even the Cubs series before that, we scored what 41 runs in 3 games.
Yeah, and then we took that right into uh, last series, like the first two games, we were scoring a lot of runs, and then the last two games we couldn't do anything offensively, which
We scored zero the last. No, I think we got one against the Twins on
the third game.
Thursday. Yeah,
Yeah, the third game we got 1 run, and then the final game scored zero,
yeah,
and we split the series 2-2. But that also pisses me off because we should have at least taken 3 of 4. I think
yeah.
the way our
Well,
offense was playing before, and then to go in and okay, if one game we only score 1 run, fine, but then the next game you got to come back and you can't score anything. I mean, come on, and then give
yeah,
up
we've
10 runs.
definitely had some high highs and low lows on this road trip, and
Yeah,
it's all been due to the offense. Like you said, we scored what was it, 14 runs a game, 10 runs another game. Last time we scored 7, and then some games we can't even get a run across the plate. It's just
yeah,
you can't do that. I mean, with the way our pitching staff has been going, and the bullpen has been surprising recently, but the way it's been going, you can't be giving up, or you can't be scoring less than 4 runs. You need to get at least 4 to make
yeah.
these games strong. So
Yeah, our pitching hasn't been great, I would say. We've had a lot of surprise, good outings from a lot of different bullpen guys, but overall, I mean, we're still giving up a lot of unnecessary runs, I think. So, to
yeah, shout out the bullpen. I mean, Matt Brash last night beat the record that Munoz broke earlier this year with 15 or 16 consecutive appearances with no runs given up. Brash just got his 17th last night.
yeah, that's
I
awesome.
know early in the season we talked about X factors, and I believe who did you say was the X factor? I think you said either Julio or Randy Arozarena,
Yeah, I think you
and
guys said
then
Randy.
yeah, and then I had said Brash, and
Yeah,
I mean he's truly been that so far. If he can
yeah,
continue that, that's gonna be something special. And
yeah.
then I don't know if you noticed, but Bizardo's ERA is below 3 right now.
I saw that last night, actually. That's
That shocked me. I mean, we,
me
we
too.
saw him early in the season hovering around 5 or 6.
Yeah, but I mean, that's good. That's what we need, honestly. Like, we need those kind of random guys to play well like that. So it's great to see his ERA below 3. I mean, he's been solid his last however many outings that we've seen
Yeah.
him. So
Well, last night, not to mention the 2 innings
yeah,
win, and he had bases loaded at one point. Obviously, runner
hmm,
short on second base and extras every inning. Man, the bullpen has been special. The bats have been inconsistent, but
hmm,
we're 5-3 on the road trip with 2 more games against the Rangers. Who is going today? Is it Brian
Brian
Wu
Wu.
today?
It's Brian Wu, yeah. So it's been a success overall. It's still been a successful road trip, I would say. Obviously with the record too, but yeah, I think we got to take at least one more game against the Rangers. Obviously, you want to sweep, but we got to take at least one more game. I think today with Brian Wu, 2 early games today and tomorrow. Yeah, I think we got a good shot to do that. The Rangers' offense hasn't been great, so we gotta take advantage of that.
Looking at the playoff picture right now, I think the Mariners are in the 3rd wild card spot. Obviously, we want to be higher up than that. The Astros are kind of running away with the division right now. They're 23-8 this month.
Yeah, they're on a fight.
Sometime in May.
Ridiculous.
They're just going crazy. But going back to that Twin series, you talked about that we needed that win. We needed to go 3-1 in the Twin series. Those games matter so much when it comes to the wild cards. Let's say the Twins go on another hot streak and they're right neck and neck with us by the end of the season. Splitting that series could be the difference. I think we still have the series win against them this year. I think we went 2-1 earlier this year against them, but
yeah, I believe so.
It's just these games matter more for the long run than for the right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to get a higher record. You want to get those wins, stack them up. But the wins against the teams that have been competitive and are in your division too, especially the Rangers, you gotta win these games.
Yep, exactly. It just shows every game. I know it sounds stupid, like we won game when we play so many games, but if you look back at all the past series that we've unnecessarily been swept or lost 2 out of 3, if we could just take at least one game out of those series, I mean, we're a whole different. Our record looks a whole lot different, and and come the end of the season, it's a big difference. So that's why every game, every series matters when it comes to we gotta get those wins when we can. But I mean, there's been a lot of exciting stuff happen recently with the Mariners. 2 things I want to talk about from recent. I know our last video we talked about DFAing Tellez and Luke Raley was reactivated, but Solano, Donnie Barrels, this guy, his average was 1 point almost 270. Now he's 265. Man has been going crazy. That proves that was the right move. I mean, he was hot, or is hot, obviously, but I think consistent at bats are going to be a good thing for him going forward. And yeah, I'm hyped about him.
That Chicago Cubs series, he had 3 hits in every single game. Like you said, he raised his average to 270 something.
Yeah,
and he had 3 or 4 home runs, 10 RBIs in the matter of 5 games.
Yeah, I think
that was
3
more than his whole season. Plus, it was incredible. Like you said, that just shows right there that it was the right call to do. Donnie Barrels finding his rhythm. There was an interview with him. He said, "I just never quit." And when they asked him how he keeps finding success even after a rough start, he just never quits, and that's the kind of player you want on your team. So.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Tellez wasn't going to do that. I mean, come on. Tellez would be down to 200 right now. But think about Solano. What was his average at the lowest point? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was 160 maybe? Lower maybe?
I mean, if we're talking about further into the season, yeah. I mean, he was hitting 130 to 160 consistently, depending on how the game went. And then he just went on a tear and slowly went to 200 to 240, now all the way up to 260-ish. And, man, I still think the Mariners could upgrade at first base. I still think there's a lot to desire at that position. But from what we saw early in this season, you can't ask for much more from Solano right now.
Yeah, for sure. That's really looking like the right move. Luke Raley's been solid since coming back.
Especially defensively.
Yeah.
Playing the outfield, he's made some really good plays defensively out there.
He has, for sure. That just solidifies your point of him being a better right fielder than first base. So I gotta give that one to you. I mean, he looks good. Canzone's been solid for the most part.
Canzone has only struck out once in the last 10 games. That's great. I think that speaks a lot to his approach when he's coming into the batter's box this year. I think it speaks a lot to his discipline that he's giving. He's looking for his pitch. He's not just swinging away, because he was kind of like Julio for a long time, where he was just swinging at anything that was a slider down low. and it's been really good to see him, have a better approach at the plate. And he hasn't seen all the successes yet, but we've definitely seen him have more success than in years past.
Yeah, yeah, it's great to see when we really need it right now, honestly. So it's good to see him playing well. The other thing, any more points about Donnie Barrels?
No, I mean it's just been great to see. He's in the lineup today. Lineup just got announced. If we wanted to go over that at all, but Mastrobouni looks like he's at third base again. He won a starting spot today. So
Jeez,
we're
after
gonna see
yesterday.
Ben Williams on off the bench, hopefully saving this game. So
Yeah. Let's run down the lineup here in a minute, but I want to talk about one more person. The guy everyone on the planet is talking about right now, Cal Raleigh. I mean, it's unbelievable. There isn't really too much to say. I mean, everyone already knows, but it's man, it's just great to see. Home run derby, second leading vote getter in the AL behind Aaron Judge for the All-Star game. Uh, and his in the Chicago series, even the Twins series, man, they were shouting MVP
MVP.
when we were in Minnesota. So
He's making that race much more interesting than anyone thought it would be. He
yeah,
is currently at a 4.5 WAR. Aaron Judge, I believe, is just over 5, so it's less than a WAR between the two right now. Kyle
yeah,
Raleigh plays at a more premium position. You can find, a bunch of right fielders that can produce. Aaron Judge obviously produces at the highest level for that position, but regardless, it's going to be an interesting race. I mean, on the MLB Network the other day, they were talking about how close that race is going to be.
yeah,
Kyle's getting the respect that he deserves, and rightfully so. Leading the league in home runs. He's ripping the ball everywhere. Yesterday, he was intentionally walked twice,
yeah. I
and
saw
once
that.
was in the third inning.
Yeah,
And then the
below the
one at bat
bases
that they
too.
didn't walk him, he walked and then hit a double.
Yeah,
So, I mean, like you said, he's getting the respect he deserves. He's getting the Bonds treatment, if we want to call it that. Intentionally walked in high leverage scenarios, even in low leverage scenarios, it seems. So,
yeah,
it's just been incredible to see. I mean, we could have never expected this. He signed his contract. We expected him to hit 240, 35 to 40 bombs, but he's already 32 bombs, and we just hit the halfway part in the season. So,
yeah. We're not even into July yet.
yeah, it's
And
kind of crazy.
yeah, we've been talking about him all season, but at the beginning of the year, or not beginning, but earlier in the year, we were talking about like his WAR and what we thought it would be, and come end of the year, and I kept thinking at least, this isn't gonna last. He's a good player, but he's not gonna be that hot forever. Well,
I thought by the end of the year he'd have like the WAR he has right now, like
yeah,
around 5.
he still is. So it's crazy. It just sucks to see, in my opinion, a lot of, Aaron Judge is the bigger name, so everyone's
Yeah,
gonna
bigger market team.
bigger market, obviously, with the Yankees and East Coast and stuff. So it's like frustrating that, I think a lot of, if not more people, are gonna vote for Aaron Judge just because of his name. But
Speaking of big market, the Dodgers obviously, they have their catcher Will Smith, and
yeah,
he's a really great catcher. I mean, he's batting like over 330 still.
hmm
Plays a great defense, but they're calling him the best catcher in the league still, and I don't think it's a strong race in that. Like Cal in the MVP race, he might be beat by Aaron Judge as of right now. We'll see how that plays out, but when you talk about best catcher in the league, it's Cal by a mile, and I mean maybe
I
even
agree.
2. I mean, he's just blows him out of the water and everything but on base percentage and average. And obviously, you want to get your guy on base. Obviously, you want your guy to hit 330 if you can. But given Cal's kind of profile and what he can do with the bat, I mean, he's doing everything he can, and
Oh,
everything is falling the way it needs to. So,
yeah. Hitting over 300 for any player, but especially a catcher,
yeah,
is amazing. So I don't disagree on that part. But Cal, obviously, he has the best power in the league out of any position.
yes.
He hits the ball hard every at bat almost. He's
His double
getting,
down yesterday was in the bottom away corner from him,
yeah,
and he ripped it to right field.
yep. I mean, he's getting intentionally walked to load the bases with no outs.
Yeah.
He's a platinum glove catcher. I mean, I don't see how you could have a better catcher, honestly.
I
Like,
was listening to Seattle Sports the other day on my commute, and they were talking about Cal and how they had a scout on the air with them, and they were talking about how Cal Raleigh has surpassed any expectations already in his young career from what they thought he would be going into the 2018 draft.
For
And
sure.
they never thought he was going to win a Gold Glove, never less the Platinum Glove. They never saw him in the Home Run Derby, leading the league in home runs. Talking about MVP was never even thought of. So he's truly making something out of nothing. That a career that was going to be probably like Mike Zunino level to man. He's paving the path for all catchers in the Mariners' future.
Right, right. Yeah, I believe that.
I expect this from every catcher decades from now.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I think after All-Star Week and him beating the Home Run Derby, and assuming that he's going to be the starting catcher and stuff, I think he's already getting the respect and recognition that he deserves now, like around the league. But I think after that, a lot of people are going to see him like, on a national level and stuff. And I think I think that's going to help him a lot going forward.
Yeah, and like we said, the Home Run Derby, we're excited, always excited about Home Run Derbies. Having Julio in there 2022, 2023 was really exciting. And to get a Mariner back this year is exciting. But imagine what Cal Raleigh's family's feeling. Not only is Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby, but his dad's going to pitch to him, and his little brother's going to catch for him.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome, huh?
Yeah, and Cal Raleigh's younger brother, by the way, is bigger than Cal Raleigh.
I saw that. Dude's like
He's 6'4", like 240 right now, and it's like his sophomore year of college, I think.
Yeah.
Or high school even.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Dude,
Mariners
need to draft him, and then he's the next up after Cal.
I mean, hey, I forget what position he plays, but yeah, that'd be sweet. We've seen Ken Griffey's dad and then Ken Griffey, and then what if we got Cal Raleigh and Cal Raleigh's younger brother? Since we missed out on Corey Seager, so
Right. Yeah. No, that's really cool. I'm really excited for that. Coming in just a couple weeks now, and we'll talk about that when it happens as well here. But speaking of catchers, I want to get your thoughts on this. So, within the past couple of days, a lot of people's Harry Ford was called up, and Mitch Garver, had that injury scare. Doesn't look like he's going to be going to the IL or anything.
no.
So Harry Ford most likely will be sent back down, I'm thinking. I don't know. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I was watching the game on Thursday when Mitch Garver got hit. He got hit in the helmet, and it kind of looked like locked his jaw almost, like he couldn't move his jaw. So there's some potential injury factors there. So unfortunately, they had to remove him from the game. It was one of those weird situations where Cal and Garver were both in the lineup, so you couldn't just switch Cal Raleigh to the catcher position because he was the DH. So you had to have your pitchers in the lineup. They never actually hit. But then, a lot of speculation. Minutes later, Harry Ford was removed from the lineup at Tacoma Rainiers, and he was up on a plane heading to Texas. I was ecstatic. I know I was texting you, Devin. I was like, dude, Harry Ford's about to be called up. Mitch Garver's going to hit the IL. Looked like a lot of other outlets thought the same thing. They were posting about it. Harry Ford's en route to Texas. Mitch Garver's going to be, we got to find a way to get Harry Ford in the lineup 4 days a week, blah, 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 blah. All the speculation, right? I was so ready yesterday morning to see the transaction of Garver, the IL, and Harry Ford called up. That didn't happen. Good. It's good that Mitch Garver's healthy. We don't want a player injured. You never do. You want to bring up your top prospects. I think you want to find a good reason to bring him up. Whether he's hitting well or whether you have an open spot, or whether you TFA a catcher who's your backup catcher who's not doing much. But I was excited at the prospect of seeing it happen. It didn't happen. Like you said, I think Harry Ford is going to be sent back. But what does that do to a young player? I mean, let's say you're at work and they tell you, hey, you're going to get this promotion, get ready to go, and then, oh, we don't want you anymore. What does that do to a young player? I really think it's going to show a lot of Harry Ford what comes from this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll affect him too much, honestly, in my opinion. That's the game of baseball, and it happens at all levels. I mean, not even just MLB, but so, playing at a high level, it happens, and I don't think it's a hit on, well, I'll say this. I don't think it's a hit on his talent, like his production and stuff, by them saying, we have to send you back down because Garver's healthy. I mean, Garver's the backup catcher, so I think he understands that. But also, when should Harry Ford come up and disregard the injury? Say Garver's healthy. When should Mariners make this move, or should they even? I mean, what do you think? Should
I
Garver
mean,
be a lot of when Tellez was DFA'd? A lot of people wanted to talk about Garver as well. When do the Mariners, or do the Mariners make that move this year? Say he
yeah, I
stays
mean,
healthy.
Harry Ford's gonna force the hands at some point, and he's gonna have to be brought up. Um, you have your future catcher in Cal Raleigh. Obviously, he's been extended for 7 years. He's gonna stick around for a while. Harry Ford hasn't been getting playing time in the outfield as we've said in the past, so he's
Yeah.
obviously going to be a catcher. And Jerry DePoto's made that abundantly clear in his interviews. Harry Ford's a catcher; he will be catching. How do you make that work? I don't know, but I think he's ready to be called up now. I
Yeah.
I don't know what the corresponding move would be. I don't know if you want to eat all of Mitch Garver's contract. I don't even know if you want to get rid of Mitch Garver to have Harry Ford come up and then he turns into he just needs more time. It's a tough one. I think if I were the GM, I'm bringing him up now. I'm making that corresponding move. I'm sending Mitch Garver. Either I'm DFAing him or seeking a trade partner. I'm bringing Harry Ford up and I'm getting him 4 games a week.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to find the 4 games, but you're going to find the 4 games. Whether that means Polo's playing third base more, whether that means he's playing second base more, getting more DH time for Harry Ford, you're getting him at bats. That's what I would do personally.
Yeah. I don't blame you. And I don't necessarily hate that either. I think Harry Ford is ready, and I know you're super excited to see him. So a lot of people are. I mean, me too. So, but think about what if you do that and then Harry Ford doesn't work out, or he's, you know, I mean, I don't see really how you could be worse than Mitch Garver, I guess. So,
Yeah, I mean
I
that's
mean,
true.
what is there to
He's
lose?
faster
But
than Mitch Garver. He's more athletic
yeah,
than Mitch Garver. He has
yeah,
better bat to ball skills than Mitch Garver. His power could be better than Mitch Garver. Mitch Garver's shown power in his past, not with us, but other
yeah.
teams.
If he
So,
could make contact, then yeah. But
but
uh,
then on the other hand, let's say Harry Ford works out,
yeah,
bats 260, hits 15 home runs from now to the end of the year. How many rosters have 2 catchers that they could really go to at any given day and
Dodgers,
expect greatness? I mean,
Dodgers. That's it.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
the
So,
Dodgers made the similar move. I mean, we just talked about Will Smith is
yeah,
essentially Cal Raleigh on our team, and then they called up their top prospect, who's a catcher as well, and he's backup.
and they're
And
finding him at bats. They're getting him
yeah,
those at bats. He's getting that experience,
yeah,
and he's doing great. I think the Dodgers are a team to follow in a lot of regards, right? Obviously, we
hmm
can't just shell out the big contracts. We're not that high market team. We don't like deferrals, but if they can call up their top prospect and DFA a guy that they were paying, $10 million, I forget what his name was, but their backup catcher who's making decent money, why can't
hmm
we?
yeah. Very true. Very true. Yeah. I mean, what do we have to lose, really? It can't really be worse. So my
We're
only
already
thing is,
playing mediocre baseball, so if we can get mediocre plus baseball with bringing a top prospect up, sure.
yeah, right. But I think the other part of that is like, are we looking at Harry Ford as a trade piece potential come trade deadline or
Yeah,
end of season maybe? So if we keep him in AAA, he has a lot of value because he's playing so well. If we call him up and he plays well or solid, I mean, then that he's gonna have a lot of value, if not better value. But if he struggles, then you know. But I don't
yeah.
know. I just don't know if Mitch Garver like the trade options are really there. I mean,
No.
teams could
I
use them
mean,
for sure, but I don't know.
you're trading Mitch Garver to a team like the White Sox, the Colorado
Yeah.
Rockies, a team that just wants somebody that can play, and they figured why not? They
Yeah.
get rid of a contract that they don't want to take on another contract at a position that they're willing to take it on for. Um, yeah, it's just it's a tough call because either way, I don't think you can make a mistake. I don't think you can do a bad. I don't think you're doing Harry Ford bad by keeping him down all of this year. I don't think you're doing him bad by calling him up and getting him at bats.
Yeah.
I think his trade value's there, but I don't know if a team's willing to give up what the Mariners want for him.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's true too.
a lot of the teams out there that are looking to sell or whatever, they already have prospects that they're bringing up the pipeline. Why would they bring another one who's ready to go to block a spot for somebody that they've been hyped about for a long time. Not saying that there's not a trade partner out there for that, but I think it's going to be more complicated than just, yeah, Harry Ford's available. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. No, that's very true. I like that point. Yeah. A lot of teams are sellers because they have prospects that they think can be better. So that's why
Yeah.
they want to sell and get rid of
I think
guys.
a package that I'd be willing to do for Harry Ford, and this is not going to happen. And if it happens, well, then you heard it here first. Luis Robert is obviously having a really tough year this year. I could see the Mariners throwing a package out for him that included Harry Ford. Robles would turn more into a true fourth outfielder, maybe DH type, or maybe Robert turns into your DH. But it's not bad to have a outfielder that had a lot of promise at some point and who's been down, but he's getting paid $15 million a year for the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Garver's off the books, Henniger's off the books next year. So.
Yeah. Asked me that 2 seasons ago, I would have been hyped.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you said
him.
you said a single A catcher in Harry Ford for Luis Robert, who was in the home run derby. I'm taking that any day.
Yeah, but
So,
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily hate that. But yeah, we'll get more into the
trades, yeah.
trade thoughts and moves soon. But I just wanted to talk about Harry Ford since that did happen.
Yeah,
it
was
this week.
the news was there. It just didn't turn into anything. So
Yeah, so and we still haven't had any updates. So we'll see what happens. I think coming this weekend, maybe by the end of this weekend. But
I wouldn't be surprised if they keep him with us just in Arlington, and then when we come back on Monday, he just flies back with the team and then just reports to Tacoma. I think that's probably what we'll see.
Yeah,
Which is unfortunate for a young player. But speaking of young players, though, who have been doing decent, Cole Young has been hitting 340 in his last 15 games.
yeah, his average is up over 240 now, which is good. Yeah, he's been able to hit the ball better.
He almost had his first home run yesterday. It was short of the wall by like 2, maybe 3 feet.
Oh, that's
And Arlington has a big outfield, really big outfield.
They do,
He hit
yeah.
like the 370 spot in right center field, and it just banged off the wall for a single, unfortunately. But
yeah, but yeah, it's good to see him coming around. It takes time, but I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad to see him. Be able to hit the ball better.
I know, at least for me, I like a lot of the metrics like OPS plus, WRC plus. I like all of those metrics on kind of showing how offensive production can be, seen as a lump sum rather than just an individual stat. Cole Young's obviously has been hitting the ball more, but for a lot of singles, right?
Yeah.
Same with Ben Williamson. So they don't have a lot. They don't bring a lot of offensive value in OPS and WRC plus. Cole Young technically is like 40% under an average hitter in WRC plus, which is crazy to think about when he's hitting the way he's been hitting recently. How do you think Cole Young takes his game to the next level where they say, yeah, this is our second baseman for the next decade?
Yeah, that's tough. He just has to get more extra base hits. I mean, even if he's not a power hitter per se, you want to say, he hits, he needs to hit with more power. But I think even a guy like him, I think he needs to be like a doubles hitter, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Power doesn't always have to be over the fence.
Right, exactly. I think for him, power is considered like doubles. Extra base hits,
Hitting
more
the gaps,
consistent.
hitting the lines.
Yes, exactly. He's putting the ball in play more. He's driving the ball, but like you said, he hits singles. Same with Ben Williamson. But for Cole Young specifically, I think he needs to, be able to drive the ball into the gaps, and I think that will improve his offensive abilities way more. I think that's going to be the key for him.
If we can get Ben Williamson and Cole Young to hit some doubles, I mean, our lineup truly looks solid.
Yeah.
Maybe not solid, but in decent enough 1 through 9, right? Because, obviously our 1 through 6 is pretty strong. The 7 can be strong depending on if Canzone or Solano are hitting well that game or not. But in 8 and 9, we gotta get a little bit more than just some singles. I like what Cole Young's done. He's really been pushing himself and finding a hole every once in a while and getting that single. But I'd really like to see him start elevating the ball a little bit more, like we did last night, getting those doubles. But I think he's here to stay for a little bit. I don't think there's any possibility of him going down at this moment in time.
No, I don't think so either. I think he's here to stay for, honestly, he's here to stay from this point on. So
Yeah.
I know this.
Pending any trade deadline acquisitions.
I mean, fair. Yes, yes. At this point, I'd rather focus on third base than second.
Yeah.
I like Cole Young. Ben Williamson has been great, but anyway, I think Cole Young, this is his rookie year, so that's fine. Huh?
He's 21.
Yeah, so that's fine. He's going to hit 8th or 9th in the lineup. Okay, but say get through this season. Next year, he's the type of hitter, or at least going forward in his career, he's the type of hitter and guy that should be hitting top like 3 in your lineup.
He should be a 2-hitter. I mean, he has the profile for a 2-hitter.
100%. Yeah. And out of singles are great, but yeah, like we said, if he needs to hit more doubles. Ben Williamson, I'm not sure what's going on there either. Singles only. I mean, hitting Cole Young 240s right now, Ben Williamson 250s. It's not terrible, but yeah, if all they're getting is just singles, it's I mean, it's good, but I don't know. We just need a little more power from those guys.
Well, looking forward to the game today. Start time at 1 o'clock. We got Brian Wu taking the mound. We're going against right-handed pitcher Rocker. Really inflated ERA he has. He's at 6.68 right now.
Yeah.
Let's run down the lineup.
I was just going to say, you want to run down the lineup real quick, give our thoughts, and yeah.
And we'll close it out after that.
All right, you run it down.
Yeah, we got the top 3 that are pretty usual. Crawford, Julio, who is playing DH today.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then Cal Raleigh. We'll see Luke Raley in the 4-hole and playing center field. So clearly,
Luke Raley in center field.
Some promise for him today. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, out of what we have, if you had Tavares still on the roster, he'd be in center field.
Yeah.
But I think Luke Raley plays a good enough defense where he's gonna make it happen out there.
For sure.
Work our way down to a Rosarena, Solano, Canzone, Mastrobouni, like we said earlier in the podcast, won that spot at third base today, and then Cole Young rounding out the 9. I'm calling an offensive explosion today. I'm calling it.
Yeah.
I think against a starter who's struggling, against an offense and a team who came off a good win last night, I think we're going to see a lot of barrels. I think we're going to see a lot of doubles, home runs. So I'm gonna call we'll say a 9-4 win. Brian Wu's gonna get his 6 innings like always, and we're gonna win the series against the Rangers.
Yeah, I love it. I think offensive game as well. I think Luke Raley's going to have a big game in the 4-hole. I think I'm calling Cal Raleigh 1 home run today. Come on, he went 2 games without a home run.
Come on, we need it every day, Cal. Every day.
Seriously. So, yeah, I like that lineup. Ben Williamson getting a day off. Luke Raley in center. That's a bit of a shake-up, but it's good.
I think it's good to give Julio a DH day too. He does a lot out there, and I think you got to keep him in the lineup so we can get him hot. But if you can give him a day just batting, we'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't mind that. So, great. Well, let's let's win the series against the Rangers, and yeah.
If we can end the road trip with a 6-4 road trip, I'll take that. So if we win today, lose tomorrow, you know what? So be it.
Yep.
That's it for the Talking Tridents podcast today. Leave a comment down below with what we said today if you have any thoughts. And then a quick reminder that once we hit that 100 subscribe, we're going to do a giveaway for something. So go ahead and share this with your friends, your family, your Mariner nerd friends too. And we'll see you guys next week.